Alright, this is a different one. I'm meeting a friend out here. He's bringing me a old vacuum tube RCA Victor black and white console, like a 50s or so. So we'll see. We're actually out here. We're going to explore some mines too while we're out here. He picked it up in Nevada off Craigslist for me. So we'll have to check this out. This is going to be interesting. Alright, well here it is. It's an RCA, I don't know, we'll get a date on it, probably a 40s RCA, black and white, of course. It's got a nice speaker. And a little bit of the history on this is, I guess it came from back east, and it migrated to the kind of northwestern Nevada area, where a friend of mine that I explore mines with saw it on Craigslist and hit me up and asked me if I wanted it. And when I initially saw the picture, it looked like a roundy color set. There were pretty crappy pictures on Craigslist, so I said, yeah, go get it. It was like 50, 60 bucks or something like that. And so he's been hanging on to it for me, and then we were exploring some mines this past weekend, and he brought it down. So the first thing I noticed was there was a brightener on it, and we'll take a look at that, and I'll kind of show and explain what a brightener is for those of you who might not know or be getting into this hobby. But basically a brightener is a band-aid to kind of mask the effects of a weak dying picture tube. So as soon as I saw that, when I see brighteners on TVs, I kind of just totally lose hope. In fact, I'm to the point where if I went out to look at a TV and it had a brightener on it, I would probably walk away unless it was free or unless it was something I had a CRT to. So is a high voltage cage. There were several times this thing's seen about probably 60 to 70 miles of dirt road, and there were a few times where I went over a dip kind of fast and this whole TV was up here on the roof of the car. So let's get it out and let's do an overview. Even if it's broken into pieces, we'll still go over it. I also forgot, he grabbed me this from his e-waste recycling place. He says there's always 2 or 3 black plastic crap sets sitting around the e-waste place, and I said, if you ever see any little small ones, I need some small ones to EOL. I have some EOL projects planned where I need some smaller sets that'll fit into a, and apparently this one didn't work. And also I would note that we're taking a break from the GE, no, the hotpoint, the little blue hotpoint. We'll take a week off from the hotpoint. We'll be back to that next week. Some of the parts have come in, so we'll get back to the hotpoint next week. Right, here it is. You can kind of see how you could assume this was a color set. Well, maybe not, but a crappy picture. So it's in good shape. Even the grill cloth is in good shape. Cabinets need some touch up, but it's all there. No back. It is a 9TC, oh, it's a KCS29. And these There's one, there's two tubes missing there. That's interesting. One tube fell out and broke. That's a high voltage rectifier. One of those in there. It's got those doorknob capacitors right there. It's got 3 doorknob capacitors. These things are challenging to restore if everything is there and the picture tube's in good shape. There's a lot of capacitors and a lot of parts in these. Anyway, so here's the brightener right here. And what these do is, as the picture tube ages, the filament cathode thing in there, the thing that the filament heats up, the part that's glowing, that will lose its ability to emit electrons. So the picture tube gets dim. So a trick is to use this to increase the voltage and make that filament in there glow hotter. Make it, these usually up from about 6.3 to 7.5 volts or something like that. And they just buy a little bit of time. They just crank up the heat, make it work good for a little while. But it's a very temporary fix, because as the thing ages, its decline accelerates naturally. So it's not a smooth drop-off curve. It's kind of like it drops off, and then when it gets weak, it starts dropping very fast. So this really accelerates the demise of the tube. Looks like we got 2, maybe 5 U4s missing there. We'll put the CRT tester on this anyway, just to check. There's always a very, very slim possibility that someone was using this to correct for some other problem, but it's highly unlikely. Here's a bag of parts that came with it. Okay, eliminates negative pictures. That's when, I call that a ghost or a cloudy image, when the thing gets weak. What it does is it goes into saturation. You're basically overdriving it into saturation because it's weak. And you get on black and white sets, you get the kind of negative, ghosty, cloudy looking image when you turn the brightness up too high. So it's very temporary. It's a rectifier. SN7. It's a wide bandwidth dual triode. You can see here this one has a lot of tungsten evaporation. You can see this does not. This does not. That's a high voltage rectifier. It's another 6SN7 with a bunch of tungsten evaporation. That's not the getter, that's the getter right there. This is from hours of use. That package contained another 5U4 rectifier. You can see the tungsten evaporation there. And this almost looks like a new high voltage rectifier. And we've got a couple here. One BG3, those are the rectifiers, and then we have a couple small tubes. Probably tested weak on the tester at the grocery store that was designed to sell tubes, and probably didn't actually fix the problem. Who knows, maybe people actually just replace tubes if they tested weak and the set worked fine as a preventative thing. I don't know. Alright, I'm testing it, but I'm leaving the adapter in circuit because this is one of those CRTs that has 2 pins on the top, and I don't have the adapter for that. I haven't drilled a hole, so we'll stay at around 5 or 6 volts and see where it is. I'm at 5 volts now, so that's 6 volts, so that's what it would be at in the TV. I don't even see that thing glowing. Here's kind of another way I've learned that you can tell that the CRT is dead. See how blue this rear, see right here, see how blue that is? See how dark and burnt that black piece of, see how dark and burnt and blued that back piece of metal looks where the filament is? That, you can kind of tell that way too. It's got a gazillion hours on it. Okay, it's been warming up for quite a while and I do not see any light. In fact, that's one of the worst I've ever seen as far as the back being dark. Usually all these metal parts are the same kind of shiny chrome color, and that, yeah, there is no light at all from that. Alright, I just checked this with an ohm meter and this CRT is open, burned out. The filament is burned out. It's an RCA Victor tube. So that really it really makes this a candidate for a prop, is what that makes this. It's a beautiful set, but with the supply of parts for these things, you know, no availability of CRTs really, and it's really not feasible to restore this, at least not for me. Maybe we could take a look at that little EOL set. Alright, let's take a look at the Emerson power switch is busted out. This is a common thing I see on a lot of these curbside sets. Yeah. DOA, man, nobody home. All right, here's the inside of the Emerson, and I always love when I EOL these black plastic crap sets, and the 90s kids get all emo on me about, oh, you know, I grew up with that, and one day those are going to be valuable, and you know, once they're all gone. Well, the thing is they're really not. This thing was probably almost made in a dark factory. There's no human. It's a computer model, injection molded, robot made. There's no character to this. When you take a look at this is made out of natural metal and wood, probably old growth wood, and this was designed and put together by skilled craftsmen in a sawmill. This is from a sawmill. This is from the oil industry. So yeah, keep your emo to yourself on this. Me and my Samsung reading your toilet mites. So let's see what we got here. Well, that's interesting. I just turned it on, plugged it in, and I heard it cut on. So let's... Let's see, here's the power switch right here. Yeah, I think the solder joints are broken on this, on the bottom of here. In fact, you can see the solder joints are broken. See that? You can see it right there. Well, very good. We have ourselves a nice little EOLer here, and we're going to make the most of it. I guess I should pull the iron out and just tack that tack that down till we're ready to get our EOL on. Here's the power switch right here. Was inside the set. Anyway, there's garbage versus awesomeness.